In the quiet suburb of Maplewood, everyone knew Dr. Victor Hale. He was the kind of man who waved at every neighbor, kept his lawn immaculate, and always had time for a quick chat. So when his wife Elena was found dead in their kitchen, strangled with a silk scarf, no one could believe it was murder. At first, the police thought suicide, but the autopsy showed bruises on her wrists consistent with being held down. It was homicide. Detective Sarah Klein arrived at the scene just after 9 p.m. The house smelled of Elena's favorite lavender candles, now flickering weakly on the dining table. Victor sat on the couch, head in his hands, repeating the same phrase, "I was at the hospital. I couldn't have done this." His alibi seemed ironclad. Victor was a surgeon at St. Mary's Hospital 20 minutes away. At 7:15 p.m., he had scrubbed in for an emergency appendectomy. The surgery started at 7:30 and lasted until 9:05. Nurses, the anesthesiologist, and even the patient's family confirmed he never left the operating room. Timestamp security footage showed him entering or 3 at 7:25 and exiting at 9:08, still in scrubs, looking exhausted but calm. Elena's time of death was estimated between 7:45 and 8:30 p.m. Sarah stared at the evidence board in her office the next morning. How does a man strangle his wife while he's literally cutting someone else open? Her partner, Detective Ruiz, shrugged. Maybe he hired someone. Or maybe the timeline's off. They dug deeper. Elena had recently discovered Victor was having an affair with a younger nurse, Mia Chun. Text messages showed arguments. Elena had threatened divorce, and to expose his creative billing practices at the hospital, which could cost him his license and millions in fines. Motive was clear. Opportunity? Zero. Sarah visited the hospital. She watched the footage again. Victor's face was visible through the clear mask. His hands moved with precision. Nothing unusual. Then she noticed something small. During a brief moment when the camera angle shifted, Victor's wedding ring was missing from his left hand. He always wore it. He was proud of it, twisting it nervously during conversations. But in the surgery video, his glove showed no ring bulge. She pulled hospital logs. Victor had arrived at 6:50 p.m. for prep. But one nurse mentioned he'd stepped out to the parking garage for a quick call around 7:10, returning just before scrub-in. A 20-minute window. Sarah drove to the Hale residence again. Victor was packing boxes. Moving out, he said, couldn't bear to stay. She asked casually about the ring. "I lost it last week," he replied smoothly. "Must have slipped off during surgery prep. I reported it to HR. Convenient." She asked to see his car. In the trunk, under a gym bag, she found a plastic evidence bag. Inside was the silk scarf, still knotted. But more importantly, a single latex glove, size 7.5, the same as the gloves. And on the glove's cuff, a tiny smear of Victor's own blood, likely from a small cut he'd gotten scrubbing in. Sarah pieced it together. Victor had arrived early. He'd gone to the parking garage, changed into spare scrubs he kept in his car, surgeons often did, and put on a surgical mask and cap to obscure his face slightly. He then drove home. Fast, no traffic at that hour, about 18 minutes each way. He strangled Elena quickly, coldly, left the scarf, then drove back, arriving just in time for the real surgery. He scrubbed in, cut his own finger slightly during prep to explain any blood if questioned, and performed the operation flawlessly. The missing ring, he'd removed it deliberately so it wouldn't get lost or leave evidence at home. The quick call in the garage, his excuse for the brief absence. But he made one mistake. He forgot to dispose of the glove he'd worn home. Panic after the fact, he'd kept it in the trunk, planning to burn it later. Sarah arrested him that evening as he loaded the last box into his car. Victor didn't confess. He didn't need to. The glove's DNA, the ring absence in footage, the tire marks matching his car on the home driveway, missed in the first sweep, and cell tower pings showing his phone briefly left the hospital grid. All sealed it. In the interrogation room, he finally looked up, calm as ever. "I loved her once," he said, "but she was going to destroy everything I built." Sarah leaned forward. "You built a perfect alibi, doctor. Too perfect. Real life isn't an operating theater. There's always one tiny bleed. Victor smiled faintly, the same smile he gave patients before surgery. Then he said nothing more,